the intro, Hero Man, was that you on the falsetto?
Like, what part? You talking about the Hero Man?
Yeah.
My partner, Manus, he a producer, he produced on the album. When we came up with the intro idea, he was like, bro, you need to reference like the old Spider-Man cartoon or the old Batman cartoon.
Yeah.
And we was joking. He was like, you know, and I was like, that's actually hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna use that like across the album because the original intro, I don't even think you heard it. The original intro was really like we really tried to make like a
jingle type shit.
The crazy bass line.
Yeah, I tried my best to make it sound like it was like girls too.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got. I was like,
you don't want to see me record it. It was.
All right, Niche, Ben Reilly, scene one, take one, Mark.
So we're gonna freestyle a little bit, and we're also gonna go off some questions that I wrote down.
You my interviewer? In theory, like in concept, I came up with Save when I chose the name Ben Reilly, right? And I was like, whenever, you know, I was in a group, right? So whenever I wanted to go solo, I wanted the first project to be like, my debut album to be Save. But as a work of art, so that was like 2015, 2016. But as a work of art, because some of the experiences I talk about on the project didn't happen until like later on in my life. And as a work of art, as a process, we've been working on Save from 2021, 2022, and till 2025. Yeah, so like about 3-4 years.
And how different is it now in execution than it was when you ideated it?
Way different. I think it's been, even in the process of making it, there's been different like ideas of like how I would want it to be. Whether it be how I wanted it narrated or even how I wanted to approach some of the songs. I mean, there's been a lot of different like just approaches to different music on the album. I done made like 10 versions of the same song over and over to get it right. So for me, my understanding of responsibility has evolved as I grew into manhood and realized that like I'm gifted with a power. I feel like every human being is gifted with a power, and that is the power of influence. That is the power of, you know, love and knowledge and things like that. And I feel like you have to be responsible with said influence, with said knowledge of love and knowledge of information. I feel like we get so indulgent in our human experience that sometimes we can like neglect the responsibility of like, yo, if you're not responsible with this influence, it can have ramifications on the people that come after you, whether it be your kids, whether it be the people that look up to you, or even other artists that may look up to you and stuff like that. So I feel like I have a much clearer understanding on the phrase, with great power comes great responsibility, much more than I initially did, where it was just like, oh, that's just cool. Like, nah, it's really important. You know, although I have siblings, I grew up an only child. So in a lot of cases, when I needed someone to back me up, I had to kind of muster up the strength to do it myself. And upon like going solo from a group setting, I realized that there's a lot of power in trusting yourself. And that's when I realized that I was kind of like the hero I needed to be, is when I like, you really got to trust your gut. You really got to trust your experiences. You got to trust what your best interests are. So I'd say that. yeah, there was a moment where I just went through like struggles with certain friendships where I realized that in some areas it may be one sided, and I put a lot of stock into all my friendships. Like I take friend like if I call you a friend, I take that very very seriously. And there's been moments in my life where I probably put a little too much stock into something that I learned wouldn't I later learned wouldn't actually put that same stock in me, I guess. So I'd say that without like going into like crazy detail or whatever, but that and yeah, yeah, because that I think that was a domino effect for me, to be honest. Yeah.
In Hero Complex, a conversation with your mom, it's a turning point in the album. How do you navigate being someone who naturally wants to protect others while also learning to protect yourself?
I think I'm still navigating that in different ways. When I was, in the context of the song, I was speaking from like a physical protective standpoint, right? But I'm now learning that protection is much more than a physical action. It's also like protecting someone's like considering someone as protection, and sometimes you can be so caught up in being considerate for other people that you're not considering yourself in that process, and that's something that I struggle with sometimes even to this day, which is like the point of the song. It's like it's a reminder of like, hey, there's nothing wrong with putting other people. There's nothing wrong with putting other people. Not I don't even want prioritizing other people that are important in your life, but sometimes you do have to dial it back and say, hey, this is a period where I need to focus on myself, because you like you give too much to a person, you start to lose track of you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the biggest villain to battle while creating say Destiny. And I don't think Destiny is a villain, but I feel like knowing what you want out of your life and sometimes feeling like you're not able to acquire it, even though you may feel like you have all the tools, is a very frustrating feeling. And it's a thing that, especially as an artist, that you battle. And I think throughout the process of this project, because I was coming to terms with how my identity is perceived to people and coming to terms with how new things may have shaped in my life, whether it be friendships, careers, or relationships or family things, it was still wondering if that destiny is the not catalyst or conduit, but like is me wanting to acquire this destiny the reason why these things aren't working anymore, or these things aren't working anymore in order for me to achieve that destiny. I think that's something that I really, really battled with really, really heavily, which is why I made a song like If This Be My Day. Because like that was something that I struggled with heavily, like in the process of this project. So
Have you overcome that battle?
yeah, I've come to terms with kind of just letting things be what they are. Um, if people I still get frustrated. I'm human, so like even when I'm like I'm better at it, yeah, I feel good about it. I'm still like, damn, like that's still a frustrating feeling. But for the most part, I think I have overcome it. But it's like it's like a sequel to a movie. It's like when you think Darth Vader's dead, it's like nah, I'm back. It's like one of those things. So.
Um,
Specifically with responsibility, on that song I tackle three different father figures in my life: my mom's ex-husband, my mom's ex-fiance, and my biological father. In that, I'm speaking from three different periods in my life as well, where I'm speaking from teenager to young adult to childhood, and it's me looking at those people who I feel like were supposed to be responsible male figures in my life, and saying like, you don't realize that because you are a male figure in a younger male's life, that you are like by default like tasked with that responsibility to be the person, to be the example, or for lack of better words, the hero. Even if you like, even if that child doesn't want you to be, you know what I'm saying? And I think in being in my life, I've searched for not sanctuary, but that solitude, that feeling, that like where it's like I'm looking to these figures to fill a void of something that I've been yearning for as a child. And I think because of that, I kind of, again, like growing up as an only child, you kind of have to be the father for yourself. But like when you're searching, and like me and my father were good, but like when you're searching for like just uh, a strong, like just strong male figures in your life to like just help be the guideline for like, I guess this was what a man, because I was raised by my mom, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I guess this is what a man is supposed to be like. So I have, like I said on Hero Complex, I have looked to my friends like, you are a person I admire as a man, so maybe I got to be more like you. Or my cousin Paul, I grew up looking at Paul like, man, you the man. So it's like, maybe I got to be more like you. And that provides a confliction because now you're looking at two different type of people. Like, I got to be like both of y'all. And that's when you start to realize, damn, I have to be me. I have to be me. I have to be me. And when you confront that, when you confront your father figures and you like, I was looking at you for this and I was looking at you for that. And I really, really wanted you there for this so that you could just give me the tools to do it. You kind of have to just realize that, you know, you're really looking for humans to be superhumans when they don't have the ability to be. So I don't even know if I answered the question, but yeah. You kind of just grow into your own and just discover right or wrong as you go through life. So
How have those, I guess, that realization that you can't necessarily look to others, you have to kind of find it within yourself, how has that informed your relationships, familial, platonic, or otherwise?
You kind of like when you look at, like I said, like it caused me to humanize the people that I was critical of, right? So when I look to like specifically when I speak about my father on the song, in that same verse, I'm shooting him bail a little bit, where it's like I have all these questions, I have this resentment, I have these feelings, but I still have that understanding that as I'm going through the things that I'm going through, I'm realizing, dang, I'm having trouble showing up for some of the people that I want to show up for in my life because this life thing could be so tricky. And I don't know. I don't even know if I answered that question right. Did I? What was the question again?
I feel like you answered it. I mean, how those relationships and how you looked at these men in your life, how that informed how you show up in your own relationship.
Yeah. It's intention. I think that's the thing. It's intention. Like I think the effort is all in the intention. Sometimes the intention will always match the result, and that's okay. But I think if your intention is very, very pure and very clear, I feel like you should be fine. You know? Yeah. Um, it was tough. When me and Guate rehearsed for the show, usually Guate would do like my ins and outs and my ad libs or whatever. But when we got to that song during rehearsal, I was like, hey, like I don't want any like backup on this one. I want to let my heart speak for me and see what comes of it. Because this is a really tough song for me, and I kind of don't want to do any theatrics for it. I kind of just want to speak it, you know. So when the time comes to perform it, and I would, you know, you don't see me perform. I don't get nervous, but I think I was extremely nervous for that show because of that one song. And you know, my father was like in attendance too, and he's heard the song. I played it for him, and he likes it. But Did I answer a question that you had?
No,
No, I'm gonna say.
like, what was it like performing that? Because that was the first time you performed the record.
Yeah. And it's probably gonna be the only time I perform it. Cause, nah, but like when it came to that, I wanted to make sure that it was just a very clear, pure performance. Like no yeah, like no performance, no lights. Like just let me speak. And it was tough for me because like I'm performing this in a room full of strangers, and I'm realizing how vulnerable like you're like when you're up there is like imagine everybody in their underwear, but I'm up there and I'm feeling like damn, I'm in my underwear. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to the verse about my father, I kind of broke. I began to cry, and that's really tough for me because I'm not a public crier. I don't like that shit. But and I mean, ain't nothing wrong with crying. I cry. Everybody, I feel like everybody should cry, but I feel like every man needs to cry. I feel like everybody needs a good cry a couple times a year for sure. But yeah, it was really difficult for me. Like halfway through rapping that song, I kind of just didn't want to rap. I kind of just wanted to sit on stage and cry because like it was really, really hard for me. And I think when I'm recalling certain lyrics and actually reciting them and I'm reimagining some of the experiences, it was heartbreaking in the moment. And I was actually like really, really getting really, really sad and like reliving those emotions when I'm actually like projecting, because this might sound weird, but like when I'm on stage, I'm not Nari on stage, I'm Ben Reilly. So it's like I'm a different person when I'm stepping on stage. Nari is me, but Ben Reilly is the rapper. And in that moment on stage, I felt like the real me was cracking through. And I put the real me in my music, but it felt different to perform it. And it was like really, it was tough. It was tough. I cried, and I kind of wanted to just end it after that. But like, the show must go on and all that type of stuff. So, but yeah, it was definitely hard for me for sure.
I will say a lot of people were very moved in the audience. There were some brothers, like I looked around and there were some men in there like,
Yeah.
very touched by that. So I think that Nari cracking through in the record was very felt and necessary.
Yeah.
To kind of let niggas know it's okay to have these feelings and be vulnerable. Maybe not on stage.
Maybe not on stage. I'm so serious. I might perform that one time in my life, gang. Cause like I don't know. I didn't even care about the crowd response at that point. But like it's like I posted the video recently, but like the other day, but I can't watch it. I can't watch it. Every time I watch it, I cry. Like I've cried twice trying to watch that video. I can't watch it. It's really like I've never heard myself cry. So it's like it's actually really, really like really, really tough, bro. Like it's weird hearing yourself break. So it's like I don't know. I do think it was a beautiful moment because there were people there that knew me and was like I didn't know, and I mean that was the point of it. It was to get people to understand my experience through the same thing we all going through life. So yeah. It was great. It was great. There was it was surreal, like I think it was a beautiful moment because man, I always wanted to get this far. I worked my whole life to get this far, but like when you actually there, it's like, oh, this is like really surreal, like I can say, yo, I have a debut album and it's about my life, and there are people here to hear maybe the project for the first time, or people here who are familiar with my music and just want to see what these songs are like when they come to life. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. I was super. I'm thankful. I'm grateful to you and the whole entire team as well. But yeah, it was wonderful. It was definitely wonderful. Minus, like I said, minus the crying and all that shit. It was really, really dope. I enjoyed it. Um, yeah, yeah. That was a really, really good night. So there are a few like motifs or markers throughout, not only visually but also audio wise. Like if you listen closely, there's certain sound effects and things that recur throughout the album, certain lines, and like throughout the album I call my mom Mother Earth like 3 or 4 times. Like there's certain things that I just speak to in regards to like just reoccurring things. But when it comes to visual, one thing I always wanted to like, I feel like every project that I do is supposed to have like a costume, right? And like I wanted in a color, a costume in a color, and I wanted the whites to be the more prominent color throughout the project, and especially when it came to like my outfits or whatever as well. But visually, there are things that reoccur. Like if you look at Osborne Park, there's a few things that reference other songs. There's a Buick in the music video that references Super Buick, you know. Um, there's the 590 that references the cover. Um, what else is there? That video is also shot, although it's about Osborne Playground back in New York, it's shot in both Atlanta and New York, which was extremely important to me. Um, I think it's very important to make sure that if you are controlling your narrative, you want to make sure that every piece of your narrative is sharp. So if you are, what's the term? Schindler's gun, Schrodinger's gun. What's Schrodinger's gun? Someone's gun. Chekhov's gun. Chekhov's gun. Whereas like, you wanna, if you're watching a movie and someone has a gun in the first 15 minutes, that gun has to be used somehow before that movie is over. If not, it was a waste of time, right? And that's like a film rule, right? And through the process of the album, there are multiple things that show up in a Happy New Year. Happy New Year is the villain's theme. I'm dressed up in a trench coat with the mask and the grill and all that. But if you look very closely, I tied Hero Man up in the closet to like symbolize, hey, this is the villain's theme song and stuff like that. So there are things that I really just want to have a pattern. There's a video that hasn't come out for the album that plays into the Happy New Year villain aspect in a flash, like it's really, really quickly in the video. So it's like those things are things that I want to just bring back, little Easter eggs that branch everything together, even if it's not the most blatant. I think that's important. What I want to communicate to people, well, first, it's Osborne Street. So my address was 590 Osborne Street between Hegeman and Watt, Brownsville, 11212, you dig? It's where my family started. And the whole purpose of me kind of paying homage to that for this album was to show people this is where, for me, although I have Freelance Charlie, I wanted to treat this like a clean slate. I wanted this to feel like a new start. I wanted listeners to feel like, oh, I'm learning a new version of my favorite artist or whatever. And I wanted the cover to symbolize that. I wanted the cover to feel like a blank canvas. I wanted the door to be cracked open to welcome people into the beginning of my story, because I feel like this is a new beginning for my career. That address and that building means so much to me. Like when I'm up for real, I'm buying it. You know what I'm saying? It's where my family started. My grandmother's from South Carolina. My grandfather, rest in peace, he's from Mississippi. And somehow, universe, God brought them to that address. And from that came my mother, and from that came me. And we done lived up and down in that building because it's a 4-apartment building with a basement. So we done lived in the front, the back, upstairs, downstairs. We done had floods in the back. Like it's such an important building to me. And like at one point my family owned it. We don't own it now, but at one point my family owned it. My Aunt Pearl, rest in peace, when she moved up from Mississippi, she came to Brooklyn. She was hustling. She was a hustler, and she bought that building. And my whole family came up in it. And it's I don't know. It's just extremely important to me because I just feel like it's it may not be historic to y'all, but it's historic to me, you know. And I just wanted to wear something extremely important to me on that cover. So I wanted to get that door made. Yeah. I want to develop a signature, um, you know, with working with Jacob. Jacob, shout out Jacob, that's my brother, he's amazing. Our Timmy be working with us too, you know. But for me, I'm not the one holding the camera, right? But a lot of times I'm like, hey, I want this shot to look like this. Most times I'm like, hey, this shot need to be angled this way, or like, how can we execute this shot? And I kind of going forward, I really, because I really do want to be like a director for real, and really like get as hands on as possible. And I want to develop like a very, I think my visuals are distinctive, but I want to develop like my own, like, oh, that's Ben's whatever. Something that's just a signature, and I haven't found that yet, or how that would look, and I don't know how to necessarily go about that. But that's something that I just want to do. I want, like, when you look at like someone like a Gabriel Moses, you could tell his color grading from a mile away. You like, oh, he trying to be like Gabriel. That degree where it's like it's very clear, like, that's, oh, I know who shot that. When you look at Dave Myers, you're like, I know who shot that. Hype Williams, I know who shot that because he did this specific thing or this type of color grading or whatever. So that's really my focus, is like figuring out how to develop like just strong enough visual language to where it's like, oh nah, that's Ben's.
That like inspire you?
Yeah. Everyone I just named. I love David Myers. I love Dave Myers. I love Hype Williams, Director X, his older work for sure. Tyler, ASAP Rocky, Dave Free and Kendrick. Who else? Like Spike Lee for sure. Nolan. What's Quentin Tarantino as well. Like there's just a lot of really cool, like, people that do really cool stuff with cameras. And I really like just want to develop my own thing like they do. So
How do you communicate? Because there's a turning point in the album where it goes from being boastful and like superhero-y to vulnerable. How have you communicated that transition in your visuals?
That's a good question. Actually, that's a really good question. So, with some of the visuals that we worked on for the project, you know what I noticed? And I noticed this the other day rewatching it, and this actually wasn't intentional, but like, for some of the stuff that we shot for the second half of the project where it does get more vulnerable, there's a lot of like grass, and there's like, I'm in tank tops, and I find that interesting. Like, looking back, I'm like, damn, like, I never really, that wasn't intentional, but that happened that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's after the Happy New Year point. We shot visuals for, Rescue and Hero Complex, Bulletproof. We shot something for Responsibility to some degree, right? And all of those visuals are probably the most stripped back visuals, and they're also like, they also contain like just open space, like open real world space, grass, trees, sky, and for some reason I'm in a white beater. Like, I don't know, like it's dialed back and it's stripped back, and I don't know, that it wasn't intentional, but I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, damn, like, even I did it even in that, and that wasn't even on purpose.
Like a happy accident.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good question though. That's a great question.
What, if anything, does the American flag symbolize in some of the press imagery and the back cover? What does that symbolize for you in this moment?
So my comic book answer is, I thought it would be cool because, like, for anyone familiar with The Boys, there's this character named Homelander who sports the American flag, and he's like superhero racist. Like he's Donald Trump, but a superhero, and but not obviously not a hero. But he and I thought it would be cool, just imagery and cosmetically, to take the American flag and to face it and make it a part of my superhero garment, to basically be like the anti-Homelander, basically. And that was like the initial concept behind it. It's just like, I want to like be that, but like black and like this. And for like just like my political reason, like, you know, and I took it off the front cover, because the album itself isn't a political album, and I didn't want people to get confused by that too. But I kept it in there because I do want people to like know where I stand politically. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an American, sure, but this country is extremely flawed, and it breaks my heart. And unfortunately, people that look like you and I, we've been dealt a bad hand. Women have been dealt a bad hand. Children are being dealt a bad hand. Anyone that's not white is being dealt a bad hand. Anyone that's not straight is being dealt a bad hand. And yeah, I kind of just wanted to say, hey, like, save America. Like y'all are saying this, make this country great, but y'all are making it worse. So yeah, that's my perspective on it.